right.
Hey.
We're here.
Welcome back to the Chill Spot
We're
podcast.
going. We're sitting.
I hope that you're
hanging out.
enjoying your time either in your vehicle or at home with the headphones on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're sliding those pants down, put your headphones on, ready to listen to the Chill Spot podcast.
Yeah. Pants down, tops on. It's the best way.
I'm assuming that people masturbate to us.
It's the best way to listen to our podcast.
Listen to our dulcet tones.
Half of you uncovered, I'm assuming.
Go get that plate of butter and just start mowing away.
You're saying things that could be sexy, but the activity around them makes it unsexy.
What,
it's like, yeah, no, I understand like butter, like glistening, like slippery, slidey, wet and wild. I get it. But it's like mowing away. It's like, do you want me to eat plain butter?
Listen,
and
dude.
that's like, I don't think you're getting what people do with butter in the bedroom.
Okay, all I'm saying is that, well, you're the weird one for never having sex to a podcast, all right?
I guess, yeah. Everyone but me. I'm the last one.
Could you imagine? A dude brings you home. It's like, all right, you know, you've had a good night. You're thinking like, you know what? It's the first date, but fuck it. We live in a modern world. Like,
Yeah.
I can have sex with this guy if I want to.
Get it in if you want
He's like,
to.
I got the perfect thing to set the mood. And it click, and it's dun 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 dun, and it's our podcast.
Have you heard of these guys?
Yeah, lay down, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, I would fuck that first guest or that first host, but whatever.
Oh, you know. Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
hey,
woo-hoo.
whoa, hey.
Hey, all right.
Hey, whoa.
Just barely made that minute mark.
Woo. Did we make the minute mark without swearing?
I think so, unless masturbating is a swear.
Nice, proud of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah.
Aunt Sandra could be proud.
Yeah.
She'll be happy.
This one's still not okay for Auntie. It was her birthday yesterday.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I called her. Oh my God. Okay, cool. Here's a story that we can tell on the podcast. Jamal Murray, who plays for, I'm a bad basketball fan, and I forget which team he plays for. They got kicked out by the Lakers. Nuggets, the Denver Nuggets. He plays for, Jamal Murray plays for the Nuggets. He's from my hometown of Kitchener, Ontario.
Kitchener!
Shout out. Kitchener representing Kitchener really well because he's an excellent player.
For sure.
But because he's from Kitchener, my uncle, who lives in Toronto, has been telling people that I went to the same high school as Jamal Murray, and I did not.
No. He's just been like, he didn't address you about that or anything?
No, I was calling my aunt, and she was like, yeah, you know, and like Jamal Murray, like, you know, like representing for Canada really well. Your uncle's been telling everybody that you went to the same high school. And I was like, oh no, I didn't. He went to Grand River and I went to Cameron Heights. And she was like, he's not.
I don't think he cares.
He's not telling people that though. He's saying, and I was like, he's also like 4 years younger than I am. Like he's younger than I am. I wouldn't have crossed paths with him in the hallways, even if we did go to the same school. And she was like, yeah,
Sam, you don't understand.
He's straight up lying.
It doesn't matter. It's not about whether or not that's the truth.
And I was like, but my friend's girlfriend did go to that high school and did have classes with Jamal Murray. And she's like, that's not as fun.
Yeah.
It's not as fun as, oh, well, you know, my niece's friend's girlfriend did go to, you know, and knew him, whatever. Mm-hmm. She's like, that's not as cool.
Yeah.
So he's just lying to people and saying that you went to the same high school as Jamal Murray, which I wish I did. Apparently he was a nice dude.
I'm sure he is. He's went on to be an excellent basketball player. So
yeah, proud of him.
Good for him.
Proud of him.
Something had to come from Kitchener sooner or later, right?
Well, we already did. We have, you know what? Kitchener does produce an athlete every couple of years or so. We have Lennox Lewis, who is from K-Dub.
Who?
Lennox Lewis. He's a boxer.
Who?
Lennox Lewis.
Who's that?
He's a boxer.
What's that?
The name Lennox Lewis.
Who?
He boxes.
So he's a boxer.
Yeah.
Is he like a prolific boxer? Did he like win championships and shit?
He did really well a couple, like 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
He was doing really well for himself.
Oh, good for him then, right?
Yeah, there's a street named after him in Kitchener.
Oh, wow, what an honor.
It's really tucked away. It's like stupid. It's like behind some railroad tracks. Like
wow.
We did not do well by Lennox Lewis.
Wait, who?
I will say though, we did have someone famous go to my high school.
The
drummer from Finger 11.
What? What's his name? Do you know his name?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
You should ask him if he wrote Paralyzer when he was in high school.
Yeah.
Assuming he wrote the songs. I don't think he wrote the songs.
Yeah, was the operation of our shitty elevator the inspiration for Paralyzer?
You guys had an elevator in your school?
Yeah, we did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were you allowed to use it?
Only kids with disabilities.
That was the
People
same
with
here for us.
disabilities
Yeah,
were allowed
yeah.
to use the elevator. Although one time my friend broke his leg and I rode the elevator with him to class.
Oh, what an honor.
Yeah.
Then you get in there and you're like, oh my God, I can't
So this
believe
is what
it.
the inside looks like.
Then you press the button and you're like, oh, it's an elevator.
Yeah.
So
it works the same
I
way.
just go up
Yeah.
faster, a little bit, not
Yeah.
even really.
Yeah. I remember one time I went into the boys' bathroom for school. It was like a thing, like the girls' bathroom was under construction or like was getting fixed, so you had to use the boys' bathroom.
Okay.
And I was like, ooh, what does the boys' bathroom look like? What does the boys' bathroom look like? It's the same. It's the same, but it was blue on the inside. The girls' bathrooms were always pink.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The girls' bathrooms are usually pink?
They were a disgusting, depressing salmon color.
Ugh.
Like it literally looks like cooked salmon on the inside.
I've heard that girls' bathrooms on average can actually end up being worse than boys'
Grosser,
bathrooms.
yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
Was yours that way?
I didn't spend a lot of time in there. I didn't go to the bathroom when I was in high school.
Ever. Not even once.
I was never a bathroom user. I peed once in the morning before I left for school. And then by the time I got home, my bladder was like, hey, Sam, it's time. And like the first thing I would do when I got home from school every day was go to the bathroom.
No, I love going to the bathroom.
Never
in school,
needed
man.
to go to the bathroom. And like, periods and stuff, like I used like a super tampon, like a supersized tampon, and like that lasts you the whole day. School is like 8 hours long. That's about as long as you're supposed to have a tampon in. So I would just stretch it until I got home and I wouldn't change it.
That's fair. I think a lot of people did that.
Probably should change it.
Still haven't
Probably
changed it.
change it, but
Not even to this day.
whatever. I'm here.
It's still up there.
I'm here. I survived. And I think I didn't use a Diva Cup in high school. I wasn't there yet. But
You weren't at that stage of your womanhood?
I wasn't brave enough yet.
Of your vagina-hood?
No.
Yeah.
That was university
Well, that's fair.
when I felt more comfortable reaching up there.
Gotta know your pussy, dude.
Yeah. You gotta know it.
You gotta know it.
You gotta know it.
If you don't know it, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah. And that's the PSA for today.
Yeah, really.
Know your pussy.
We haven't done lessons in many episodes,
Yeah.
but
There's a PSA, there's a pussy service announcement. Know your pussy.
pussy service is what they should call going to an OGBYN. Gotta get my pussy tuned up.
I gotta get my pussy service.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of guys come in with a wheel and like install it in your pussy in like 5 seconds or less.
Yeah, someone takes your you're making love and
The
someone
pussy pit crew.
takes your panties off and then like notices your like sticker and it's like, oh babe, you're above your kilometers. You gotta go get your pussy changed. Gotta get your pussy oiled up.
The pussy sticker is expired, man. Now I gotta report you to the police. Cops!
Yeah, I know, it's like
They like rush in and arrest you for
Yeah, really.
driving with an expired pussy.
for fucking with an expired pussy.
Yeah.
And you had that conversation like, oh, do you think it'll be okay? We're over the limit. Oh, I'm sure just one will be fine.
Just push it.
And then your pussy stalls and you have to
Yeah.
get a new one.
Why did we push it? Why didn't we just refill?
I'm actually so bad when it comes to oil changes. I'm such I'm someone who's really diligent with the things that I own. I always like to make sure that they're maintenance correctly. But sometimes I'll get in my car and be like, oh, hey, the sticker. Cool. I wonder what I'm at. And it's like 1,500 over. And I'm like, oh, dear God.
I'm just very intimidated by mechanics because they have so much knowledge over me.
Mm-hmm. The answer is no every time.
And I don't know what to tell them when. And it's like, you have to like, it's not like you have to leave your car and then you have to give them the keys to your car and you're like separated from your car and like they do stuff to it and you don't know what because you can't see it. And they're just like, okay, I did it. And it's like, you very well could have just like fucked off for 20 minutes and like not
ding,
done
ding,
to my
ding,
car.
Ding, ding. All right, done.
Yeah. Also, you need new wiper blades for $1,400. Do you want to do that? It's like,
Listen, if you're paying $1,400 for wiper blades, you are getting ripped off. I don't think I need to tell you that.
I know.
You know what? I frequent Jiffy Lube because sometimes I love my mechanic, but he's a busy fella and he's working on like real car problems, when I hand him off in my car, he'd be like, okay, I can give it's like 9. He'd be like, okay, I can get this back to you for like 4 or whatever, right? Because I got like shit to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's fine, Joe. But sometimes I just need an oil change, so
Yeah.
I'll go to Jiffy Lube because
Yeah.
it's a drive-through, it's
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive, but you pay for the convenience.
That's all you fucking need.
Problem with Jiffy Lube, in my opinion, is the fact that they come up to you and just lie to your face about your car.
Yeah.
They didn't do it this time because I sat in the car. I actually saw him take it out. But you know what Jiffy Lube does? They have a spare filter that's like dirty as fuck. And they'll come back to you and be like,
with the spare filter?
and they'll be like, this is your filter. Do you want to change it?
No.
And then what they do, because they're devious, you'd be like, no, it's fine. Be like, okay, you sure? Because like this is like technically like this is blowing into your car. But they're lying to you.
They're lying to you. They're showing
lying
you a
to
dirty
your
filter.
fucking face.
Yeah. I should just go to YouTube and like figure out how to look at my car's filter.
It's not hard.
No, it's not hard. And it's not complicated.
Nope.
Like, That's the thing that I try to remember about things that I don't know, like have a lot of knowledge about that scare me, like cars, where it's like they wouldn't sell them to everybody if you needed some kind of like special knowledge that takes like years to master. Like, you know, like
you can go to fucking Canadian Tire and buy a filter.
Like, you can't perform open heart surgery on yourself because you need somebody else with the knowledge to do that for you. Hence why you can't just buy the tools needed to perform open heart surgery readily available.
Yeah.
But like the fact that you don't need to be a fucking locksmith to open up the hood of your car, look inside, and be like, okay, these are the cylinders, this is the engine, this is where the wiper fluid goes in, blah, blah, blah. The fact that the knowledge is so readily available means that I should just do it. That I'm smart enough. Have a little bit of faith in yourself to be able to look it up, you know, read the car manual, consult YouTube, whatever you got to do to find out how to look at your car's filter. And it's like, what filter? You know, like you say filter, air filter, oil filter. I don't know. Is there an oil filter on your car? I should probably find out.
I don't know the answer to that
And it can be found out with a simple Google or a simple, like consulting of your car's manual, which is sitting in your glove compartment at all times.
And it's very comprehensive.
I should just do it. Yeah. You know, just take an afternoon and just do it. So that when the Jiffy Lube guy hands me like a furnace filter and is like, this is your car filter, it's dirty, I can be like, that's a fucking furnace filter, you liar. There's no fucking way.
He shows you like a scuba gear. He's like, oh, that's your filter.
Yeah.
It's not working properly.
It's dirty. Do you want to change it for $80?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found a small rodent in your engine.
Yeah, so I'm not a fucking dope. I think something did die in my car though, in my car's engine, because when I turn on the fans, there's a smell. It smells bad, and it did not smell that bad when I first got it. Oh. But every time I like this summer when I would like have the fans going and the AC, this like wretched smell would come out of my fans.
You should definitely get that looked at.
Yeah, I think something like died and is in the process of decomposing, and
Gross.
It's just like doing its thing in there.
Wow.
Probably like a bird or a mouse or something.
It happens. It does happen.
I hope it's not a cat.
We know what it is. It's because...
It can't be a cat.
I don't think it's going to be a cat.
No.
There'd be more problems if something that big was in your engine.
Yeah.
It's probably something... It's probably like a chipmunk or like a squirrel.
Yeah.
Which is still a bummer.
Yeah.
But like, at least
I
no one owned it.
still don't want to find it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be right.
No, yeah. It's funny how often wildlife gets caught up in filters. My dad has told me many a story about how he's found like live animals, or dead animals rather, in the pool filter.
Yeah.
To like pull it up and be like, oh, there's a rat in here.
Yeah, a rat, a squirrel. Yeah. Raccoons can do that sometimes, unfortunately. It's really sad.
It is sad.
Anyways.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Speaking of cars, another thing that's frustrating about being a car owner is trying to time when to get your tires changed. Because you need to schedule it ahead of time to beat the rush.
Yeah.
But when is the rush? You don't want to be driving around with your winter tires on if you're not going to get snowfall for another like 2 weeks. Because you're going to wear down your tread, and then you have to buy winter tires sooner than you want to.
You also don't want to be that asshole who's driving around with no winters on when it's full of snow in the middle of November.
Well, and it's like if we get an onslaught of snow at the last minute or unexpectedly, I can't drive up here if I have my summers on. But if the mechanic is clogged up, that could be like 2-3 weeks until I can get fit in to get my tires changed. So like, you know, I've got shit to do. I have distance to drive with my car. I only drive long distance with my car. I never I'm not going anywhere when I'm in my hometown. I just I come here, I go home. That's it. Like,
and that's the end of that.
Those are my outings, you know. I go for a walk every now and again so I don't go stir crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't lose your fucking mind.
That's walking. I don't drive. Yeah. So
I did that a couple days ago, actually. It was night and it was raining and cold, so I didn't go for a walk, but I went for a nice leisurely drive.
Yeah.
And got a milkshake and just kind of listened to podcasts and got a milkshake.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was a good time.
Yeah. I like doing that too. I mean, I'm really trying not to spend money right now because I don't have a lot of it. But a good walk just to like clear my head. I like going. There's this hill by where I live called Mount Trashmore. Is that actually what it's called? No, its government name is McLennan Park. But if you like, I was a kid before they named it. Mount Trashmore used to be just a wasteland. It was just a big fucking hill.
It was a dump, right?
And then the town kind of took over it and turned it into an honest to goodness park. Like there's a splash pad now, and
it's a nice place.
Like a skate park and a bike park.
We walked around there one time. It was nice.
Yeah, it's in like a gazebo and stuff.
Lots
it's
of
nice.
good Pokemon Go stops.
It's a lovely park now, but I miss it when I was a kid because like the main attraction is like Mount Trashmore, like the giant hill, and we used to go sledding on it as kids, because it was huge and it was so steep. Like if you went down Mount Trashmore on one of those plastic crazy carpets. Do you remember crazy carpets?
No.
Hold on, let's sneeze.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Crazy carpets. It was just a sheet of plastic with 2 handles punched into it.
And you do what with it?
You slide down on it.
On the grass?
On the toboggan hill, on the snow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was called a crazy carpet.
So okay, yeah, sure.
It was literally just a flobbery piece of plastic
that kids would slide on, yeah.
That you slide down a hill on. You just like pull it up over your feet.
You didn't mention the snow, so I was like, what, you're just doing this in like the summer?
No, it's
like,
a toboggan hill.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, when it's the wintertime, we would go tobogganing on Mount Trashmore. And if you had a crazy carpet on Mount Trashmore, you basically had a death wish because it was just a sheet of plastic. Shit like was so slick. Like it went, you know? So you would like go down and you would just gain so much momentum and you would fucking wreck yourself.
Oh, yeah.
But so many kids got hurt on Mount Trashmore that they were like, okay, we have to contain this. We're going to take this over. We're going to turn it into a proper park. And we're going to grade the hill so that you can't, first of all, you can't go up as high anymore. They put like fences up so that you can't slide. They put a fence about halfway up so as a starting point. So you can't go up as high.
Start tobogganing here, idiots.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're gonna start you off like halfway up so that you don't like wreck yourself so hard. And they actually built like a reservoir because there's a Tim Hortons in front of Mount Trashmore, and back in the day you would just slide right into the Tim Hortons parking lot.
Wow,
which was like so not safe.
That's really dangerous.
I don't know how none of us died.
That's a really busy parking lot.
Well, what would happen is you would bail before you hit the parking lot. You didn't stay on your sled. Naturally. To hit the parking lot, but like all these sleds were like going out into the parking lots.
Did you ever do ridiculous things on toboggans as a kid?
No, I had a GT snow racer when I was a kid.
Is that the one you sit on?
No, it's one of the big ones. It has a steering wheel.
So
it's like a fancy. It's like a car.
I never found that steering wheel to work.
No, it didn't. No, it was terrible.
It was just like you would turn it and the front thing would go, and then you would flip over your nose.
Yes.
And die.
Yeah, you would flip over. It wasn't really a thing. But it gave you something to hold on to, something solid to hang on to.
To feel like you're not on a thin piece of plastic.
Exactly.
Careening down a hill at 100 kilometers an hour.
Exactly. Tobogganing is probably my favorite winter activity.
We should do it. We should go adult tobogganing.
You just sit and go fast.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's really fun.
The only thing is, as an adult, is that adults aren't nearly as durable as kids were. Because what I used to do with my friends is that we would line up in a row and grab the person in front of you's toboggan and try to go down like a train.
Yeah.
But what would happen every single time, and I do mean every single time, is that you would go down and someone would just start to like go sideways.
Yeah.
And then as soon as someone caught an edge, like toboggans in the air flying, we're like careening down the fucking hill.
Like landing on top of each other.
Oh yeah. It's a miracle no one broke bones.
Yeah.
But as an adult, we would definitely hurt ourselves beyond repair.
Oh, totally.
Like
our knees, our hips,
kids are just durable,
not.
man.
Our lower backs.
When you're a kid, you're durable.
Anymore. Yeah.
I knew a kid who was sleeping over one time here, and he woke up and fell down the fucking stairs. Oof. Like the whole, and you know my stairs.
Yeah, they spiral.
They fucking, the whole staircase, and like laughed at the end. Like, that was fun.
I am terrified of doing that on your stairs.
People who fall down stairs.
I'm so scared of your stairs.
If you fall down the stairs as an adult, you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
Like, let alone hurt yourself.
It's not good. It's not good. You're going to lose teeth. Best case scenario.
Oh, best case scenario.
You're cosmetically like hampered for the rest of your life.
Worst case scenario, you're paralyzed.
Yeah.
Or you die.
Yeah.
Happens, man. It's scary.
Yeah, it happens. This whole Netflix series about it. It's called The Staircase.
Yeah, she really fell down those stairs.
Yeah, she
when
really
her husband
hit those
killed
stairs.
her. Actually, you never know. Yeah, I watched The Staircase, and it's kind of like, it's a good series. The thing with The Staircase is that it becomes more of a commentary about how gay people are viewed in America. Because like, without getting into it, it's revealed that the guy had like an adulterous relationship with like many folks, and he was also gay.
Yeah. Wasn't he like dressing up in lingerie too?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Long story short, the jury's opinion of him was colored by the fact he was gay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a sham case. We don't really know whether or not he killed her.
Because you're so caught up in whether or not he's gay. It's like, drop the gay thing.
Well, that's just it.
That doesn't, him being gay doesn't have any, well, I think they, from what I can tell, from what I've watched, I've only seen like the first 2 episodes of The Staircase. I didn't finish it because, to be perfectly honest, it's kind of boring.
It is a lot of talking.
Like there was like an 8-minute scene where a bunch of forensic scientists just stood around the staircase looking at the blood spatter patterns.
I'm talking about, yeah.
Which sounds kind of like interesting and fascinating, that like based on how blood, like the angle of which the blood spatters, you can tell how a person fell and connect and like build the story from there. But to actually do it, it's like how people think archaeology is fascinating when it's actually like such a process.
It's a little dry.
It's so meticulous that it's like dry, and you're like, you're happy with the end product because these scientists can tell what somebody did with a space like 3,000 years ago. But to actually do it, to actually sift through dirt for hours upon hours upon hours is so boring. And to watch 3 grown men stand there with a measuring tape looking at blood spatters on the wall, it's so boring.
I mean, I thought it was interesting.
It's so boring.
I thought it was interesting.
It takes a special kind of person to be interested in that. Because
I feel like you're insulting me when you say that.
No, and I really don't mean to.
It takes a special kind of person.
No. The same way it takes a special kind of person to like be okay. Like my friends are archaeologists, Emily and Sydney, and like the things that they tell me about, like it's fascinating. But when they tell me about their days, like digging test pits, and sometimes you're always dealing with weather. It's either too hot or it's too cold. The ground is too soft or the ground is too hard. You're hitting with clay, which is apparently like the mortal enemy of archaeologists.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like, it sounds like the worst fucking job in the world, you know? But when they tell me about stuff that they find, it's really fascinating.
I mean, of course. Like,
yeah.
I remember I took an Anthropology 101 course because I had to.
Yes.
And let me tell you, Anthropology, and I would love to have your friends on to like talk about this at length, but Anthropology, like you just said, it's quite the process. The biggest thing that shocked me about Anthropology is how they admit that we know like less than 2% of our own history.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like what actually came before.
Yeah.
That 2% is just comprehensive. So like we know things, but there are huge black areas of history that we just have no fucking clue about.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me.
And like we'll never know.
No.
You know,
how would you?
That's why historians mourn the burning of the Library of Alexandria so much, because there was so much knowledge in that building, and it's gone.
Do you know some of the things that were there, like the things that would have been there?
I mean, they can only stipulate, right? Because all they know is just like things that were written about the Library of Alexandria that burned down. But there were just like, apparently there were texts written by like famous thinkers, you know, like important thinkers of the times and stuff like that. And it's like, if we had those texts, it would be like, you know, more Dead Sea Scrolls.
You know what's crazy about that, Sam, is that now in the modern age, we definitely live in the most well-documented times ever.
Yeah.
And
there will still be stuff missing, though.
Of course, I mean, obviously, because once the technology boom happens and everything, all of our electronics die, that's where everything's recorded on.
Yeah.
So, like, that's that.
Yeah.
But what I was about to say is that now that everyone has the capacity to record their own history, like the individual, we're gonna get
control their narratives.
We're gonna get bogged down with a lot of garbage.
Yeah.
Like, think about it, right?
Yeah,
like,
future archeologists really have their work cut out for them. You're gonna have to really want to do it.
They're gonna really want to parse like what is actual history and what. Well, not for anything, but like, no, not to get political, but like, with how big disinformation is a thing right now. Yeah. You know, and like anti-intellectualism.
Yeah, you're going to get led down a lot of wrong paths.
And like historians might be like, this is how they thought. And it's like, well, this is half. I mean, that might have already happened if you think about it.
Yeah.
If you like, when you go back and like, they can only assume what people thought back in history, right? Yeah. Who's not to say that those aren't crazy right-wing assholes?
Exactly.
You know, like.
Exactly.
Who knows?
Exactly. And you always have to consider that like history is written by the victors, right? Like history. What we have of history is only what past humans deemed worthy of writing down, talking about whose value or whose words we valued, even, you know, like maybe there were like women and people of color saying the same shit fucking Socrates was saying, but because women and people of color weren't as valued in ancient Greek times or were valued differently in ancient Greek times.
Or modern times for that matter.
Exactly. Or so few women managed to, you know, burst through with their writings. Like we have Sappho, but that's all I can think about in like ancient Greece as far as like academics go, academic writings go. Like, we don't know. Maybe somebody was saying the exact same shit. Maybe some of that shit was stolen, You know,
Who knows? Again,
like
who knows?
people have the conversation about whether Shakespeare actually wrote all of his plays over and over and over and over and over again, and we can just never prove it.
They wrote that terrible movie about it.
Shakespeare in Love?
No, not Shakespeare in Love. Jesus, it's called like Shattered or something. One sec, hang on. I'm gonna find out.
Is it like an honest to goodness documentary? Or
no,
is
it's a drama.
Oh, it's a fictional
Shakespeare
drama.
stole.
Oh,
plays
I remember
movie.
hearing about this.
It's called Anonymous.
Anonymous.
And it was bad.
Oh, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. Actually, I saw it as a part of an English course.
Oh, you had to see it.
It was like a school thing. We like went to the theater and watched it.
Okay.
And I didn't like it very much.
No.
I found it to be very confusing, but I don't remember much about it.
Neither do I.
So in high school, I was like, movies that aren't comic book movies.
Were you seriously like that?
No. When I was in high school, I didn't have much of a critical lens, really.
No.
So I just like wanted to enjoy things, and the movie wasn't very enjoyable. So it was just kind of like,
I got you.
Fun to be boring.
I got you. Were there any movies that you had to watch for class in school that actually just became like some of your favorite movies?
I really like. I haven't seen it since I've watched it, but I have fond memories of a movie called The Cradle Will Rock.
Okay.
It's got like Jack Black and Kyle Gass and some of they're not like main characters, but I don't remember what it's about. I just remember liking it, honest to God. Okay. Like watched it in drama class one time.
I think I've mentioned him before, but when I was in high school, I had this teacher twice for 2 different classes. But I had him for history, and he did not like teaching. He liked He liked saying things and then playing a movie that illustrated his point.
Amazing.
So he would be like,
I wish being a teacher was that easy.
So I had him for 2 classes during my time in high school. I had him for grade 10 history and an elective that I took called psychology, sociology, and anthropology. They just like mushed the 3 main social studies.
What the fuck? You can't just
into
mush
one
that
class.
together?
Ooh, it was rough.
Those are 3 very extensive fields.
Looking back, it was rough, and you only just sort of like brushed the surface of each subject.
Yeah.
But for like the psychology unit, we would be talking about, for the sociology unit, we would be talking about subcultures. So as an example of a subculture, I think he played My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
What?
Yeah.
Is he trying to suggest that Greek people are a subculture?
Like I don't know.
Wouldn't that just be considered a culture?
Yeah.
Like not a subculture?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
Or maybe something about like family traditions and how we hold on to them and stuff like that. And he'd be like, and then we would finish the movie after like 2 periods and he'd be like, see, yeah, there you go. Okay. So My Big Fat Greek Wedding, she dates a guy outside of the culture. There's a rift in the family. Family traditions are really important and people like to uphold them. So there you go. And moving on to anthropology. And it's like, what the fuck?
Wait a minute. What happens to teachers like that? How do you get to that point?
I don't know.
Are you beaten down by the system that bad to the point where you're like, I just don't fucking care anymore?
I think what happens, and like I remember him being a better history teacher than a psych, soc, and anth teacher. I think what happens, and I saw this a couple of times. I was the victim of this a couple of times in my public school system, but they simply run out of teachers to teach things.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes teachers get assigned subjects to teach for an entire semester that they know nothing about. So, for example, this is a really bad example. In grade 9 math, I took applied math because math is my weakest subject and I'm not trying to make my life harder. I got assigned a teacher who was normally a tech teacher, like trades, like he was specifically, he taught tool and die.
Oh, okay.
Like tool and die making, which is still something that I guess it's making tools. Like, how do you make tools? I don't know. But he was a tech teacher and they were like, oh, well, you use math in your trade. So here, teach grade 9 math.
You're not wrong, but also like what?
But also like in grade 9 math, like there's a curriculum. Mm-hmm. You have to learn certain things in grade 9 math. We also have this thing in Ontario called EQAO Test.
Oh my God.
Which you do every odd numbered year. So you do it in grades 3 5, 7, and 9.
Yeah.
I think.
And then the last one's a 9. Yeah.
And the last one's a 9. And so I had to, and like, they don't affect your grades per se, but they're just how the government tests how well students are understanding the curriculum in certain areas, so they know where to like where people need more help, where they need more like math help, where they need to focus on English and blah 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 blah. So I had to write the EQAO test, having done nothing that was in the grade 9 math curriculum. So
wait, he just hang on, one sec. He just didn't teach the curriculum?
No, what we did was we built a sailboat out of a cardboard cereal box for the entire term.
The entire term?
Yeah, it was supposed to take, I think he said 15 periods, but because we were applied math students,
it took the entire semester.
And I was one of, I think, 2 people who actually finished the project. And that was only because I went in during lunch hours for extra help to get more stuff done.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Because it was actually so confusing. Like, you had to like measure certain parts, and you had to make a weight, like a weighted down part out of like a metal chunk using a special tool that you needed teacher supervision to make in order to make like the bottom half of the boat.
Honest God, Sam,
it was so stupid.
You may as well have been speaking another language.
It was
for the
so
past
stupid.
2 minutes. I have no earthly idea
the
what you're
fact that
about.
Nobody ever came into the classroom and was like, hey, why aren't you, I don't know, talking about how to calculate the air, like surface area?
Yeah.
Like everybody else?
Perimeter and fucking...
Yeah, like everybody else. Like everything that's going to be on this province-wide administered test.
And then he's like...
that they have to take in like a month.
And then he's like, province-wide administered test? What are you talking about?
Yeah, buddy.
Wow.
And I don't blame that teacher, because he obviously got just handed this class and had to like make the most of it. And he had never taught math in his life. He had taught like his trade, tool and die making, but he had never taught math to students. That's an entirely different mindset. Why the fuck are you giving classes to randos? Like,
well, yeah, that to me is a problem with the school board for sure.
Yeah.
But something I don't understand is that, like, okay, does the school hand teachers curriculums, or are they just supposed to fucking make it themselves?
They hand them classes and say, this is the curriculum that you need to teach. And then if you don't know what it is, a good teacher would learn it. But this teacher obviously thought like, well, I'll give them something like tactile and like kinetic to do that uses math.
Totally.
So that in building this boat, they will learn the math that they need to learn.
It's not a bad like through line, but at the same time,
in practice, it didn't work.
Yeah,
and he really should have given it up once like the 15 periods passed and like nobody was even close to starting to assemble their boats yet.
That's a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you take academic courses for the rest of high school?
Yeah, I took applied. Okay, so I took applied science in grade 9, but it was so stupid easy. I really shouldn't have been there. 2
applied courses as well. I took French in grade 9 and then grade 10 applied science. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, any teacher who tells kids that applied is the same curriculum but slower is a fucking liar.
No, it's like completely different.
You're a liar.
It's completely different and dumbed down.
It's completely different and frankly insulting.
Yeah.
Like insulting to the kids who even need to be there.
No, like when I took applied science, like part of the reason why I knew I wasn't supposed to be there was I think we did a unit on space, and like one of the questions on the unit test was like, name the order of the planets. Like,
wow.
Yeah. I can't name it now. I know it's like the sun and then Mercury and then Earth is 3, but I don't know what's between Mercury and Earth. But like, that's not hard to study, the order of the planets. It's really not that difficult.
No, you can come up with a fucking
It's kind of insulting. It's kind of insulting that you put it in there's like one level below applied. It's called workplace. And it's like, that should be workplace science.
Oh, I've said this before, Sam, but in the first homework assignment, I will never forget this for as long as I live.
Yeah.
My first homework assignment for grade 10 applied science was to log onto a website, and then they gave us a logo, like a non-colored in black and white logo.
Yeah.
That we were then supposed to log onto the website, look at the logo on the website, and then color in the logo the appropriate colors. And that was homework.
Oh my God.
For science.
Oh my God.
We watched The Magic School Bus.
Oh my God.
And Bill Nye the Science Guy. We were 14 and 15.
Yeah. That's kid shit.
Like it was educational, sure.
Yeah.
But like, holy fucking shit.
But Bill Nye is kid shit. Bill Nye is meant to teach like 8-year-olds about science, about like photosynthesis and stuff, not teenagers.
Science rules. But yeah, man, that's what applied.
I will say though,
in school is.
I went to academic science for grade 10, and that shit got exponentially harder.
Of course it did.
I really could have used like a middle ground with science specifically, because applied was far too easy, but academic was way too hard.
Science was my weak point in school. It was always the class I did the worst in.
I always did well in science. I was a straight B student in science. I could always pull off B's, like 70s, like early 80s.
No, my problem with me is that like, and like, I'm not even trying to be like, but I would actually like study for science and like learn things and still get everything wrong. Like, I don't know what it was. It's just my weak point.
Optics was the hardest unit for me.
Did
you ever have to do optics?
Colors and shit?
No, it's about like your eyes.
Right.
It's like early beginner like optometry.
Okay.
It's like how, you know, how the eye is built and how light reflects and refracts through it in order for us to be able to see. It's like, how do we see things?
Right. Oh yeah. No,
the science of
that.
seeing. Yeah. It was so hard. It was so hard. We had to draw diagrams about how light bounces back through the eye. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I could just never get it straight.
Okay,
I would study and study, and I could never get it straight.
Don't you like see images technically upside down?
Yeah.
And then your eyesight corrects it?
Yeah.
Or something?
And shows it to you forward facing.
Does that mean we're all upside down right now?
No. It's just how our eyeballs see it. But I could never get that shit right.
I remember one time in my grade, it would have been like, I guess, grade 8 science. I asked the teacher that if the earth was to stop moving, would time stop? And she laughed at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a stupid question. Like, I get it. But would it? I don't know.
No, it wouldn't.
I mean, the sun would stop.
I mean,
right?
We made up time. So time can just keep ticking, and we can just like, you know, if the earth all of a sudden stopped moving and say like, you know, Canada wasn't facing the sun anymore, we wouldn't have the sun rising and setting to help us determine time, but we would live in darkness. Like, we would live shrouded in darkness all of the time. Yeah. But we could still say like the hours are passing by. If anything, we would need time to keep going more.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, how do you know how long we've been here for if the light doesn't change? We would need to keep time in order to, you know, keep our world moving the way that it goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
More than anything. But yeah, to answer your question, I did academic everything except for math, science in grade 9 at least, and geography in grade 9, which I should have just taken academic geography. It was stupid. I don't know why I picked applied. I don't know. I should have picked academic.
You were like, I'm going to be an artiste. I don't need to know about rocks.
Well, I was just like, I don't know. Like, I had to pick whether or not I took academic or applied geography in grade 8. I had to like pre-choose.
What?
Yeah. I made those decisions in grade 8.
Oh.
I chose my
weird.
I had to choose my my whole 9th grade year in grade 8, so that once I hit high school, they could just be like, here's your schedule.
Yeah, here's your go ahead, go nuts.
Yeah. So I was just like, I don't know, like, I'm not bad at geography, but I'm not like academically inclined to geography. You know, I'm thinking about like a grade 8 standpoint, and they tell you that everything in high school is so much harder.
Which is such a lie.
So I don't know. Let's try applied geography and like see how it goes. And then I got there, and all we did was watch Planet Earth and color in maps of Canada. It was insulting.
Man, you know what?
Also, my hand hurts so fucking bad because none of it has so many goddamn islands.
It does. Oh my god, coloring those
maps. It sucks.
I remember one time what I actually did. I just like colored it all in. I didn't even bother with the ocean.
No.
I was just like,
it's all red.
Yeah, it's red.
It's
okay,
red.
there, it's red. Whatever. I'm pretty sure I got marks docked for that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man. I think the levels of school, being like elementary, high school, post-secondary, really need to communicate a little bit better about what the expectations are.
Yeah.
So I remember being in grade 8 and like my teachers left and right being like, this isn't going to fly in high school.
Yeah.
Like, it's harder up there. Like, it's the fucking Wild West, man.
Yeah.
You get up there and it's like, oh, it's just elementary school.
Yeah.
But you're
little
bit harder.
But you're like 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get your driver's license at some point.
Yeah, for me, I wore a uniform.
Yeah.
That's just like, that was the biggest change.
That's all it is.
No recess and uniform.
Yeah.
frankly, by the time grade 8 rolled around, I didn't even want to do recess anymore. To be perfectly honest with you.
Oh yeah, you're too cool for like playing in grade 8. Yeah. I remember there was like a staunch line on the schoolyard in my middle school, because I went to a 7 and 8 school. Like I went somewhere from K to 6.
Yeah, you
and then
did.
I went
you
to
went to a middle school.
And then middle school 7 to 8, and then high school 9 to 12.
Yeah.
And since it was just the 2 grades, it was like kids playing in the playground. Okay, those are the 7th graders. Kids standing in circles, like like leaning on one hip, talking to each other. 8th graders.
They're all leaning on each other in a circle, like they've set it up. Yeah.
They're all like leaning to one side or leaning up against a wall. Yeah. Grade 8. Too cool to play.
Yeah,
Too
man.
cool to be kids.
Fucking assholes.
But yeah, no. Did I ever tell you about the detention system at my middle school?
No.
And how fucking stupid it was, and how they swore up and down that it would prepare us for high school, but it was like way too hard on kids.
No, what happened?
So one kid in each homeroom. So the way that my middle school worked is that like you had your like 4 or 5 subjects a day, and you would start off in homeroom, and your entire homeroom would travel around from class to class with each other. So, and sometimes the classes would like mix and match. Like gym class, you had it with like another classes, like another homeroom as well. But you mostly just traveled with your homeroom. So one kid each week was responsible for this thing called the clipboard. And the clipboard was a list. It was the attendance list of all the students with a bunch of squares next to all of the names. And if you did something bad in class, the teacher from that classroom would like mark you down for a detention, and then the kid with the clipboard had to hand in the clipboard to the homeroom teacher at the end of each day, and then that teacher would be like, okay, so and so, you have detention, like stay behind, everyone else can like go home for the day. But the things that you could get detention for were stupid.
Okay.
Like there was obviously like you could get a B next to your name for behavior, which is like fair. You were acting out in class, you got a detention, fair. You could get a P for pencil, which you could also get a detention for if you forgot a pencil.
Why would you go to detention for something like that?
You could get a detention for forgetting a pencil because they wanted to prepare you for high school. They wanted to get you in the habit of bringing your own utensils and not having to ask a teacher for them and be independent.
Yeah.
So if you forgot to bring a pencil or paper or your binder to class, you got a fucking detention. So you would have kids who were in detention for like actual crimes, like behavioral problems.
Crimes, okay.
At the time, actual behavioral problems. Kids who would like call the teacher an asshole or whatever.
Right.
And then just like little innocent kids who just had a bad day and forgot to bring a pencil. You know, or like if you were doing geometry and math that day and you were told to bring a protractor set beforehand and you forgot to, fucking get a detention because you forgot to bring a protractor set for the 1 week that you would need it and then never need to touch it again.
That's so harsh.
Yeah, it was so harsh and so mean. And then I got to high school, and what happens in high school when you forget a pencil? The teacher tells you to go to your locker and get a pencil.
Because it takes 3 seconds.
And nothing happens.
Yeah.
And well, it does take a while because like, you know, like my high school had 4 floors. So you could be on like the 4th floor and your locker is on like the 1st floor in the basement.
Right.
And you have to like go to your locker and get a pencil, and it's annoying.
You don't have it to me?
But the teacher also would just hand you a pencil.
Oh yeah. Or
they had pencils.
Yeah, because sometimes when you forget a pencil, you go, oh sir, I forgot a pencil, and they go, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just give that back at the end of class.
Give you a pencil.
And like, okay, sir.
So not a big deal. You don't have to give a kid detention for it. The other thing is too, is that if you got too many detentions in a row, you could get a suspension.
What?
I mean, like, it was for kids who acted out, obviously. If you're being a menace for, like, 5 days in a row, they give you a suspension. But in the school rules, and I read this because I was a paranoid little kid, it was like 5 detentions equals 2-day suspension. And I was like, so if I'm just having a bad week and I forget a pencil 5 days in a row, am I going to get suspended from school? For forgetting a pencil. It never happened. I never heard of it happening.
Because
like,
knowing you probably never forgot a pencil once.
No, because I was terrified.
Exactly.
Scared me shitless.
Fucking nervous little breakdown.
But it's like, why didn't anybody catch this? Why didn't anybody see, oh yeah, I guess that does technically mean if we're giving kids detentions for forgetting pencils, then you could technically get suspended for forgetting a pencil 5 days in a row. Like,
so stupid.
What the fuck is the matter with you?
Did you ever get a detention?
Yeah, I did for forgetting a pencil.
And they actually made me stay. Was that like the worst hour of your life? Like, were you like, I'm gonna go home, my mom's gonna fucking kill me.
Well, no, what I realized is, no, I always beat my parents home, even if I had detentions, because school ended at like 2:50, and detention was like an hour. So I'm still getting home, and I could walk home. So I was still getting home by like 3:30.
School was not a long time.
No.
It starts at 8 and ends at 2. 8 to 2?
Or like 3, technically. I specifically remember my school got out at 2:50.
Me too.
5-0.
Mine was 2:15.
Yeah.
1-5.
So yeah, 8:30 to like 2:50. That's nothing.
Did your whole day.
When I got out in the real world and had a job, I would work 6 a.m. to 2:30.
Mm-hmm.
That's 8 hours.
Yeah.
Like, that's longer than a school day.
So a school day is what? So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2.
6 hours.
That's 6 hours.
Yeah.
And one of those hours is lunch.
Yeah.
So you're only there for 5 hours.
But it felt so long. And sometimes so much happened in
It's
a
because
day.
you don't want to be there. And also when you're a kid, the scope of your world is so small.
I know.
So when things happen, hours feel like 5 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you feel like you're there all day.
So much can happen in a lunch hour.
And also if you were like me, who did tons of extracurriculars, I would be there till 5 o'clock sometimes.
Yeah.
Because like football practice would end at like 4.
Yeah.
If I was doing a school play, rehearsal would be done around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
If it was show week, we'd be there till like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
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 You know?
I remember pulling some long hours at schools during show week and play days and stuff like that.
Needed,
like
though.
tech runs and stuff. Oh, so important.
Oh, yeah. The thing, so like you didn't really have school plays though. You did like...
Yes, I did.
I thought you said you didn't.
Yeah, we just did shitty plays
Okay.
that nobody knew.
I just thought you did like city plays and stuff with like outside groups because your high school didn't really do school plays.
No, so in grade 11, my school did a musical, and I don't do musicals because I can't sing or dance. So my friend started a by youth for youth theater company, so I did a play that way. And then, in grade 12, we didn't do a play because nobody could think of one that they wanted to do. Like the staff just like didn't think of one to do. And then my friend, I know, right? My friend wanted to do No Exit, but there's a lesbian kissing scene. And
oh, God forbid.
And the school was like, okay, you can do this play, but like 2 girls can't kiss, like just straight up. And then my classmate was like, I'm not taking out the lesbian kissing scene. We're like, girls kiss, it's a thing, it happens, I'm not taking it out. And they're like, okay, well then you can't do it. And he's like, okay, I guess we're not doing it then. And then we just didn't have a play that year. But his same thing, by youth for youth theater company did a play, and I did a play then.
It was Angry Men, 12 Angry Men, wasn't it?
12 Angry Jurors.
12 Angry Jurors, because they weren't all men.
It was Streetcar Named Desire in grade 11 and 12 Angry Jurors in grade 12.
Nice.
I think.
2 good shows.
Excellent shows. The plays that we should have been doing. Honestly, it's
really funny. I don't know if you ever had an experience like this. In grade, I think 10 or 11, we did A Doll's House by Henrik Isben.
Mm-hmm.
Great show. I love A Doll's House. Mm-hmm. The lead, who is an old chum of mine, whose name I won't mention for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. He wasn't necessarily like the theater kid type. Yeah. But he auditioned for the play because people told him he should. Mm-hmm. And then he was cast in the play because he had like the right look and like, you know, he was sort of fit for the role in terms of what the casting director, aka my drama teacher, thought, right? Yeah. Turns out, if you don't memorize your lines, you won't memorize them. This dude, as you do, was script in hand hours before opening night. Ooh. Like, it was bad. It was like, I thought he was going to die at one point. Yeah. At one point, Sam, me, him, and my another friend of mine, who played Nora in that show, literally improv'd our way out of a scene because he forgot a line, and then she tried to save him by saying a line way later in the scene, and just fucked everything up. Yeah. So we just had to do the blocking like we would and sort of like say lines that sort of sound like the lines from the play. Oh my God. And then finally the person who ends the scene has to come out and like ring a bell and be like, dinner's ready. So all I did, I was like, okay, we've been out here for appropriate enough time. I said my line that cued her. Yeah. And she came in and was like, dinner's ready. Like, great, let's get the fuck off stage. Holy shit. And we got off stage, and then I think the girl who played Nora was like quite upset, and we were like, we can't talk about this right now. We gotta get backstage. Go. And then like after the show, we just laughed about it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God, that's so scary. Oh yeah. I've never flown free like that before. I don't know if I said this already in another episode, but in grade 10, we did this play called Twist and Shout, which was about these teenage girls and the shit that was going on in their lives leading up to
a Beatles concert, and this was like the Beatles back when they were like a boy band.
Beatlemania,
like, I want to hold your hand, please me, twist and shout, blah blah blah. Hence the name. Of
the we get it.
But one of the girls, her story, like the lead actress, her storyline was that she was going steady with her long-term boyfriend, and they were gonna she was gonna get a job as like a seamstress or some whatever dumb shit British girls in the 60s had to do for jobs. And like they were gonna get married and it was all set, but she got pregnant. And she got pregnant by John Lennon.
Oh, fuck.
Who never appears on stage. None of the Beatles ever appear on stage, but it was just like, I went to a different...
What, is John Lennon God? You're Mary Magdalene?
I went to a different show, and because the Beatles were like not as huge back then, you could like see them. You could you could fuck them. You just hang out backstage and like fuck them if you got lucky enough. And she had sex with John Lennon, but she also had like sex with her boyfriend and thought that she was either pregnant with her boyfriend's baby or possibly John Lennon's.
How do you have that conversation? Okay, so listen, I'm pregnant. Okay, my period is late. I'm really sorry. It's either your baby or John Lennon. It's like, what?
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Excuse me?
But yeah. So, but the leads fell in love with each other during the show
in real life, like IRL.
So, and like their relationship continued to amp up during show week. It just got like more intense and more intense and more intense and more intense. So the last night came and they kissed way more on stage than their characters were supposed to.
So gross.
They were just making out on stage. And there's like a scene where it's like all of us together and he's like, "Oh, I still love you. We're gonna get married and have kids. Blah, 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 blah." And they're supposed to kiss, and we're all on stage, and it was supposed to just be like a peck, but it was like tongue.
Ew.
It was like making out tongue.
Do you think that like...
And like it was a show, like it was a proper run. We had an audience. Their parents were in the audience.
That's gross.
And they're making out with fucking Kitchener, right?
Yeah,
like,
for real.
Making out with each other.
And now they're both into voyeur. Because apparently they get off to that.
I guess so. But it was like, I felt really bad because I was actually really tight with the female lead.
Were you like, God, I wish that were me?
No. Oh no, that guy sucked. He sucked so bad. But I was like, okay, like get it in, girl, but also like,
come on, we have to end the play.
We have a whole show, please.
We have to go to Boston Pizza after this.
The reservation is at 8:30. It is 8:12.
Yeah.
Wrap it the fuck up, girl.
We're pushing it, bitch.
We're pushing it.
You can make out with him when we're eating infinite pizzas.
Exactly.
All right?
Exactly.
Right.
Make out after I get my cactus chips, bitch. Okay, I'm starving. Hurry it up.
If they're out of cactus dip by the time we get there, I'm blaming you. I hope you know.
If I don't have a pierogi pizza in front of me in the next 15 minutes, I swear to God, I'm going to fucking kill you.
I'm going to fucking kill someone. Actually, we did this other play in high school. You might have heard of it.
Yeah.
It's called The End of the Podcast.
Oh my God, I love that one.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer when it comes around, but I'm always proud when I get to it.
You know?
Yeah.
And sometimes when it comes, you get to experience the idea that, like, you've been on a journey with these people.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's ultimately a happy ending.
Totally. It's published by Spotify.
Yeah.
Apple Music.
Google
Play.
Google Podcasts.
We're on Podbean as well.
Picked it up. Yeah, Podbean.
And even on YouTube if that's your bag.
Yeah. It's available on all those platforms where you get plays.
You can buy it on Indigo at 3 p.m. on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Bye.
Bye.